Hey everyone, it looks too dark. Hey, it looks too dark, but I think it's fine. Sorry for all boxes, but I do mail products and gifts to friends. Uh, this is Shirley Taketi with Pink Warrior Sisters. Um, I was thinking today about uh, back when I was newly diagnosed with breast cancer. You have so many choices, some treatment options, and they have more now than they ever had, which is a good thing. But in the end, it is on yours and only your decision. So it's can be pretty difficult. Too many choices, too many options, too much. In some cases, you don't really have. I feel like we don't really have a choice, right? But mine was early stage breast cancer, and I was on the fence about some of the different other treatment options. I could have maybe skipped chemo. Yay, right? That's a good thing. But as it turned out, I'm glad I did it. But it took me forever to make the decision because my second opinion oncologist said, it's okay. I understand you don't really want to do it. Well, no, I was scared to death, as would anybody. But here's what happened. The first oncologist, he didn't talk to me, and that's why I stress, please get second opinion. If you're not comfortable with the doctor that you have, get another opinion. I would ask questions, and he would just walk out the door, and I'm in mid sentence, and that just not right. They were doing clinical trials on one of the new tests. At the time, it was new, and insurance wouldn't cover it. They take a piece of the tumor, send it out. It was in California. I don't know if they have other labs now, but they send it out to California and test it for 100 or 26 different characteristics of breast cancer, and find out what is your risk for recurrence. So um, and you'd get a number. I said 100. You'd get a number from 0 to 100. I don't think anybody would get 0 because if they've already had cancer, you must have a higher risk than 0. That's just what I think. But, anyways, I was stage 1, lymph nodes negative. Nothing in, they didn't find anything in my lymph nodes. So that's good, right? It's a good thing. That's what my surgeon kept saying. That's a good thing. But anyway, even when you have a best case scenario, you have so many choices. And the Oncotype test that I was telling you about, it's standard now, but my insurance wouldn't cover it. So when when I would see the oncologist, I would go because they were right next door. I'll go to see my surgeon, and I told him what happened, and you could see that I was just terrified, right? So he said, you just really need to get a second opinion oncologist. He's in Wilmington, so it was a lot further, about an hour from my house. So when I went to see him, he immediately said, "Well, you need that Oncotype test." And I said, "Well, yeah, good luck getting it, right?" And he said, "We have a rep who comes to tell us about it and push us to order it," which back then it was new and they didn't even really know if it was going to work. So that's why they were trying to get everybody in the clinical trial. And while clinical trials are good, and I really probably would have done it, except for the fact that they'd flip a coin to see you're getting you're going to you're going to get the chemo or you're not going to get it. I know they wouldn't just give you injections placebo, which would really be the way to do it because then you didn't know if you're getting it or not. And the double blind study where the doctors know or the doctors don't even know. I don't know. I've never been very scientific, but I am very fascinated by how they test things. And anyway, sorry for rambling, jabbering. But as it turned out, Um, the rep called me while I was on my way to go home. He called right away. My doctor did. The oncologist. He's a very good doctor, but he's retired now. The oncologist. And anyway, I had to call him back when I got home because it was an hour away. And I told him my financial situation, or as I remembered it. There's so much going on at the time. We had just moved here to the beach, and well, a lot of stuff going on. So I everybody's situation is different. That's the thing. That's why no one can tell you what to do. You need to make your own choices about treatment. I didn't want to do the chemo. I didn't. I'd have been under the bed with my cat, Spike, but he was almost feral. Um, but they rescued him and saved him. Um, but he's not with me anymore. Lost him during COVID. He had pancreatitis. Anyway, moving along with the story, as it turns out, they did the test on the tissue, on the tumor, and it came back with, like I said, from 0 to 100. And I got a number like, oh boy, it was pretty low, but it was something like 16. Okay, so 16 or 18. And I'm like, well, that's almost 20. So that means my risk for recurrence would be 20, which is not that bad, but still 20. To me, that just seemed too much. So I said I'd go ahead and do the chemo, but I made up my mind at the last minute. And I called my oncologist. When I called my oncologist, sorry, he's like, well, you got to get up here right away and we got to discuss it and, get you started. And I'm like, okay. I don't think he was too happy to hear that I was going to go ahead and do it. But anyway, these are all things that there's so many different things and so many different that you have to think about. If I had gotten, I might have had to get radiation. If I had only gotten a lumpectomy to make sure it's all cleared, it's all out. They hit you with a high dose radiation. Oh, okay, low dose. I think it's low dose. Don't want to scare anyone, but it feels high. So that's so I've heard, and I didn't want to have to do that. I'm a chicken. I didn't want to do any of this. Nobody wants to, but you feel like you don't have a choice. It's cancer. And in fact, and talking about, your friends might react the wrong way. One of my sisters, she said, "But Shirley, you don't need to do." And a couple of my sisters didn't want me to do the chemo, and one of my sisters, she was like, "Oh, Shirley, that's isn't that radical?" I said, "It's cancer," and she started crying. So I had to be the one to reassure her. It's okay, don't worry. That's another thing you learn when you go through a cancer diagnosis. You may think that they're going to reassure you everything's going to be okay, but it's the other way around sometimes. Anyway, my lights are getting screwy, so I think I should get going, and I think I've been talking too long. So if you like this, please like, share, and smash the subscribe button. I tell stories about life after breast cancer, um, and other things. I also make my own non-toxic cleaners, and so looking forward to talking to you and learning what you want to hear, because I can just ramble on trying to figure out what it is that you would like to hear. And if you're newly diagnosed and you live kind of in the Myrtle Beach area, please message me and we could get together. I can go with you to treatments, hold your hand, to tests, anything like that. Um, so keep the faith and don't forget to feel your boobies because early detection is the best prevention.